Welcome back, everybody, for some more Carthage League of Legends. Here today with my not-so-constant co-host,
Biggie.
Biggie, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. This is going to be a nice, calm, relaxation stream.
Wow.
Yelling?
That is what the Carthage League of Legends stream is known for. Relaxation.
100%.
Not a lot of yelling.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No hype.
That's not in my vocabulary. No idea. Yelling? Not.
Should we count how many times the mic peaks for you today? Is this the counter? Keep track?
Let me get a pen. Let me get a piece of paper.
That's right, exactly. We'll have to have Jack keep track of that one. Our lovely listeners. But gonna be hopefully hopping in a draft here soon. Up against UW Green Bay. We have a mascot check on that one.
Our producer's falling asleep over there.
It's
no
okay.
idea.
That's all right. All right.
So we're improvising.
We are. And you know what? That's what we're best at here.
That's what this job's all about.
What do you expect here out of Game 1 draft?
Expecting some League of Legends gameplay. No, but for real, probably going to be seeing an Aatrox pick up in the top lane. Very strong top laner, can be blind picked pretty easily just in case FIrebirds want to take that first pick. Usually, we have been seeing when FIrebirds home side, they do get picked, usually picking red side, not really looking as a team, having a lot of prio picks as, play style. That's just not how they go. They like to play more reactive when it comes to draft to figure out what they want to play, what they want to counter pick and stuff like that. Not necessarily correlating towards the actual gameplay of playing reactive, but they do want to just figure out what their game plan is into a team. I have noticed that they're not super, all right, we're having a game plan going in. They more figure out a game plan on the spot. And so far, the season's been working out for them.
Absolutely. I mean, I hate to say the U word, but they've been doing very well. A lot of jungle early rotation. That's been the main, the staple of these FIrebirds drafts so far. Usually dropping AD carry later, letting Fyro get that late pick in order to ensure a good bot lane matchup here. But going to see Fizz and Syndra ban. Off of the Fizz ban, the Syndra makes a lot of sense. Lulu is something I've been seeing all the time. Olaf is definitely an interesting one. Just very solid blind pick. I mean, you see it at Worlds. You see Adam of Team BDS definitely rocking that pick, having a lot of success with it.
I mean, let's be honest. BDS going really crazy at Worlds right now with the top lane picks.
This is true.
We don't have to talk about the Golden Guardians game.
We do not. We should not talk about the Golden Guardians game.
We should not. That was
Golden Guardians game.
Golden Guardians. Never heard of them.
BDS just qualified, right?
Yeah,
they were already in.
There was no qualifying.
I'm glad they were. Nefiri is a very interesting one. Usually you're only going to be banning that if you're going to be picking Ahri, as it's kind of become the solo queue counter pick just because, all of Nefiri's little dogs can block the charm, which is, the main aspect of how Ahri's going to find those big advantages in lane. But it can make a sense against a lot of different mages. Yeah,
especially when you're looking into what Blitzkrieg likes to play. A lot of control mages, stuff that, he can be a facilitator. He can play a counter carry. But we are going to be seeing a Gwen ban coming in. So Soraka is still up on the table for Pac. That is something that, isn't really up on the table a lot. So that could be something that Green Bay has in their back pocket that can be picked right away. We do know that they already play Neela. So that could be a Neela Soraka lane where, if you're not playing the right support into that, it becomes very hard to shut that Neela down early in lane with all of that healing. So that might be something that they're looking, but they do prio pick the Maokai, which is as staple of a jungler as you can get right now. Tank meta is insane in the jungle, and Maokai has always been strong for the last few patches. So we do know.
For the last year, really, Maokai has been one of the strongest, if not the strongest jungler in the entire game, especially for competitive play. It just every single one of his buttons has value. Each of his spells, QWER, all of them are extremely, extremely good. The only real weakness that he holds in his role is being somewhat weak levels 1 through 5. So there are a lot of champions that can take advantage of that. But as long as you are keeping track and you are the one making the proactive plays, it's really hard to put Maokai behind. And when he's even or ahead, it's extremely oppressive. The ultimate, the W, all of the lockdown and utility he can provide. Even just the vision that he can grant with his saplings is incredible.
Right, and that going into this bot lane of Jhin Karma, that's going to be something that late game can be put to use if Jhin does get early or ahead early. That can be something that the Maokai can be useful to try and lock down the Jhin, especially if he's starting going, Storm Razor or something that he can get a lot of attack speed or a lot of movement speed. Sorry,
absolutely,
a lot of movement speed, especially with Karma. being able to buff him left, right, and center. That can be something that it's hard to lock him down. Maokai is going to be great for that.
Absolutely. Just going on to this next Xayah pick. Very interesting pick. It's been a staple of Fyros throughout the entire season. We know through any Carthage watcher knows the Fyro Xayah is clean. But with that being said, it kind of feels like Green Bay kind of knew it was coming. You don't ban it within. It's been kind of on and off as far as if teams have banned this Xayah pick. But Jin Karma is a comp or a bot lane in particular that does really well into Xayah. And Soraka here too, so it almost feels like they kind of walked Firebirds right into what they wanted.
Right, it's a lot of poke, and that's exactly what you want to play into Xayah, whether it's a team comp in general or if it's just a bot lane. That's how you're going to be able to beat her in lane. And, you know, looking into this, yes, I completely agree. They did, if this was their game plan, it was a perfect, you know, bait and try and reel it in, because now you have, yes, you have extreme comfort picks on the side of Firebirds when you're looking at Xayah and Pox Soraka. That's going to be something that is going to be staple picks for the Carthage bot lane. However, when you're playing something that is this counterintuitive to that bot lane, could be something that could, you know, come back and bite them.
Absolutely. It's a lane that's certainly going to be taken advantage of, or at least attempted to, especially by this Poppy pick. Usually Poppy's a pick that I really like in these early rotations just because of the potential 2 flex to the top lane. But just given the champion pool, especially of Raymond the Goat, it's an absolute possibility for the flex. But Maokai into Poppy, if you are putting this Poppy jungle, that is a problem, because Maokai, he's unstoppable on his W. You can't do anything into him except run around and chase him around the jungle.
Right. And if you're looking for that Poppy jungle, I mean, just from, you know, B1, 2, and 3, what are you countering? I mean, Xayah goes unstoppable. Soraka is, yeah, you can like alter out of the fight, sure, but like you said, Maokai can also be unstoppable. That can be something, you know, depending on the micro capabilities of Beast Fridge, you could be able to counter that pretty easily. So Poppy, if you're looking to get that early, it's a little bit weird to pick because you don't know what's going to be coming in B4 and 5, knowing that Blitzkrieg does play mostly immobile champs that Poppy doesn't really counter when it comes to, you know, something like LeBlanc or Lissandra or something like that.
Just given the bans, though, it almost feels like this Poppy is locked in to go top, just because you ban out the Aatrox. That's the only pick that I could really see being any sort of issue into this Poppy top. And now, the only other champion that we've even seen for Raymond the Goat this year has been Camille. So, and that's obviously a pick that... And Gragas?
And Gragas.
We've seen Gragas as well. But either way, Poppy does well into both those characters, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just threw it in the top lane, use it as a stabilizing pick to try and dissuade some of these later ones, and Fiora certainly would be a choice into this Poppy. That is the one that we missed.
Okay, so gonna break it down. If it is a Poppy top, think about it. Fiora cannot, well, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
I'm not the Fiora player here, but I don't think you can buffer QW to stun Poppy, can you?
If you QW into the, whatever, the seismic,
yeah.
I forgot the name of the W. Look at me. Professional caster over here. Into Poppy W, it'll actually, you can get the stun off of that, but that's the only thing. It's really hard to get it off the E, unless you're like really hard baiting it. Poppy can win these matchups. It's one of those matchups where it's Fiora favored, but Poppy can outplay it. And now Ori is going to be picking the Vex. Perfect pick. I mean, you're playing for team fights. Renekton is the top laner. So this Poppy is going into the jungle now.
So, personally, I don't know how to feel about the Firebirds team comp. Because, yes, you want to play 4-1. That's exactly what you want to do. With Maokai Orianna, you have the nice DPS with Xayah, and you have some good sustain with Soraka, and obviously Fiora, the split pusher. That's what you want to play. The side of Green Bay, you're kind of more team fight oriented. Yes, Vex can roam very easily with her R and try and catch Fiora out on side lanes, but you still do have Riposte on Fiora that can parry any fears coming from Vex. If you're pretty, you know, if you're telegraphing it, you can get Riposte on Renekton stuns, so that can be something that you can use, but it's going to be something that, okay, now Fiora is going to be able to try and pull away from team fights for Green Bay to try and, you know, force people to come up to her. You know, if she gets 1 or 2 kills in lane on this Renekton, she's going to be a problem when she builds Hullbreaker. If she goes Divine or Stridebreaker, whatever she wants to go this game, she's going to be a problem in the side lanes. They're going to have to send multiple over there, and it can be something that Green Bay might want to force a 4-1 on if they can't really find anything else. But that's going to be something that we're going to have to see play out.
I mean, it's kind of hard to criticize just because we've seen so much success out of this playstyle from the Firebirds throughout. it is hard because Fiora's kind of it's an X Factor champion. You throw it in a draft, you're putting it in there because you're expecting them to win lane and get an advantage. If they don't, it is extremely difficult to push anything around the map just because then you're getting matched at side lanes. So if this Renekton gets ahead, that's the main game plan here for Green Bay. But otherwise, I think Firebirds have perfect draft against what the Green Bay has picked here. I mean, those first 2 picks, Jhin Karma into the Xayah, perfect. But then you go Poppy, Vex, Renekton. You just locked 3 engage into the Xayah. Sure, you look at Vex. Vex has some range, but it's one click of the R, and all of a sudden that entire engage is nullified. It's kind of confusing how they went from good thematic counter into playing right into what the Firebirds were looking for.
Right. And, as 2 junglers on the table, we're kind of looking at this Fiora into Renekton matchup. You had Poppy into Fiora, which can be something that, can be winnable kind of early. Yes, Fiora does percent max health, so Poppy late game, it's kind of, knife through butter. But would you rather have played this Poppy top, or would you rather have, have this Renekton top and, keep Poppy in the jungle? What are we kind of thinking?
I think once you lock the blind Vex, I think that you kind of need to go Poppy jungle. It's very tough, like, because Poppy doesn't really win lane hard enough against Fiora for, in my opinion, to like warrant it. And I guess what other there are a lot of other jungle options, but a lot of junglers are terrible into Xayah. It's just how, I mean, it's one of the reasons why Xayah is such a great pick right now, is she plays so well into all of these engaged champions, and just naturally a lot of these engaged champions are those ones that can pounce on you early game, which is how you defeat the Maokai. So it's a very tough kind of decision, but I think that getting this Renekton to Fiora matchup is very good for the side of UW Green Bay, but the rest of the draft is going to be very difficult to work around if they're able to stay even and if this Poppy doesn't cause too much chaos in the early game. Because one thing we haven't talked about, once again, the Jhin Karma are going to have that early winning lane. Poppy will have these opportunities to put them ahead. It's just a matter of how ahead you can get this bot lane, and if they're able to transition that lead into dragons and into a winning game state.
Right, and if I'm this Poppy, honestly, starting top to bot, try and get a level 3 dive down on this bot lane just to push this Jhin Karma ahead. Like you said, they are going to be pushing in. They do have this poke lane into a Xayah Soraka, which honestly is probably the worst things that you can be going into with Xayah, because yes, like you were mentioning, early engage into Xayah is awful. You don't want it, especially after 6. That's literally what her champ is built around. You want to be able to use your unstoppable R to bait out big engages, which, like you were saying, great into early game engage junglers like something like Sejuani, or something that really only has 1, maybe 2 ways of CC that they're going to try and lap over each other, so you can just dodge the entire thing altogether. But for viewers at home, what we're going to be looking at in this game in particular is top lane. Who's going to win? If Fiora can get, stay at least with this, even or ahead, if she can get any kind of lead with this Renekton, it's going to be much harder to get back. And bot lane, how is Poppy going to be able to address bot lane? Is she going to go for dives? Is she going to try and, Jhin Karma try and bait them in towards their tower just to try and get any ganks? Is Maokai going to be hovering over? Those are going to be your 2 focal points this game. Mid lane, yes, it can go either way, but for the most part, Orianna's not going to want to interact. Yes, try and poke Vex off the lane, so she can't really roam with R after 6, but that's just going to be something that top and bot, that's going to be your focal points this game. That's pretty much what's going to make or break the game.
Absolutely. Now, just going to take a little short spectator delay break here. See you again for some more Carthage League of Legends after this quick break. Welcome back, everybody. Getting back into this game for some more Carthage League of Legends. What?
Calming League of Legends.
Calming League, of course. No yelling today until there is yelling, of course.
Exactly.
Until somebody has the pop-off moment.
Right.
In which case you can expect some yelling. But until then, it's going to be some pretty chill experience here.
Right. And if I need to make a Reddit yelling clip, I will. But until then, keeping it calm.
Okay.
Rockstar flowing through my veins, but it does not matter. No
It's just
ASMR.
waiting
No
to-
ASMR, so we don't have to worry about that. But it's going to be a nice, smooth...
Of course. That's what Rockstar is known for, the energy drink. It's known for producing a calm human being after consumption.
And the video game company. You're trying to tell me that GTA is not calm?
It's so calm. Red Dead, calm, right? Anyways, getting into this game here, where do you expect the Maokai, Beast Fridge, where do you think the Carthage jungler's focal point is going to be this game? What do you think the goal of this Maokai is here?
So, honestly, I feel like you're going to try and follow this Poppy. If I'm Beast Fridge, I would assume, well, with a lot of junglers, most junglers path bot to top. A lot of them do. It just is what it is. They like the extra leash. Top laners, for the most part, especially this Renekton into Fiora, doesn't really want a leash. They want to get in lane, try and bully the Fiora early. So if I'm Beast Fridge, I would honestly think that Poppy would be starting bot, even though it would be smart to start top and do that level 3 dive like I was talking to Jam Select. And it looks like that is what Beast Fridge is doing, kind of setting up a long blue buff, going to be going bot to top. So we are going to be seeing that, cross mapping between either junglers. So we're going to have to see around, 3:30 or so what's going to happen. You're going to have some action top lane, you're going to have some action bot lane, who's going to be able to get the kills, and what's going to be happening there. That's going to be what we're going to have to be watching.
Absolutely. It's kind of interesting because we did talk about the kind of main X Factor lane in this FIrebirds comp is going to be this top lane. So it's kind of interesting that you see the Maokai pathing from bot to top. Now, actually, a very interesting invade here by the Poppy. This is something I would definitely like, just because the one thing we talked about, what's Maokai's weak point? 1 through 5, levels 1 through 5. So if you're able to pick up this bot side, all of a sudden kind of hamper the gold and the experience that this Maokai picks up before he's able to hit 6, that could be very beneficial, especially if you're going to look blue, red, maybe Krugs right into that bot gank, because you already see how much push they have. They're in a really compromised position if this Poppy chooses to go down and gank.
Right, and this is something that I did notice when I'm, watching gameplay of this FIrebirds team. They usually don't ward rushes, so that could be something that when you're looking at early game, when you're either playing against this team or whatever, that's something that I have noticed. So when you're starting to look at it, yes, now Maokai knows that he has his Raptors still up, but when he goes back into red side, he doesn't know that Poppy's there. That could be something that now that we have, if this Soraka Xayah lane doesn't get pushed in, that could be something that
they
can
cleared it about the same time.
Correct. Oh, but here we come. And this is what I'm talking about. The level 3 dive. This is what they want, but the wave is not pushed. It's in a garbage spot, but they're still going to be looking for a game.
Ying forward might actually be able to find some damage here, but nothing more really happening. Still decent play there, just to get the camps, put a little bit of pressure on this bot lane. Beast Fridge is pretty compromised as far as HP goes, just as we talked about. Jungle, nerfs, more damage on your first clear. That's the one other thing about Maokai. He's one of those champions that doesn't have a super healthy clear after those nerfs, just because you don't have the damage. And looking mid, though, you saw that Vex was low. Very, very tough gaming there for the Vex into that Orianna. And the Blitzkrieg Orianna is something we've seen a couple of times now, dominant in both appearances.
Right. He's just really good on these control mages, knows how to poke out, knows when to go in, knows when to kind of, disengage, walk away, knows what his power spikes are, and if he can still beat the mid lane, which makes him such a great teammate to have, because look at him, he's just chunking with that airy proc. It's going to be really hard for the Vex to try and be able to get in. No pots on her, just Doran's ring. So we are going to see a mid lane gank coming in here. We do have Beast Fridge there, so he can try and counter.
Vex has got to be really careful here. Poppy is going to just E away, try and get out of any more damage here. Flashing away also. So Poppy is able to get out, and both junglers are going to exchange flashes here. So slight advantage here to Beast Fridge, just because the flash is less vital to these early ganks. As you know, like Poppy can only push opponents in one way, so the flash to reposition it can be really important. But that being said, very even trade. The main thing that we're looking at here is that massive CS lead in the mid lane. Blitzkrieg has just been doing a number on this blind Vex.
Right, and that's something that we got a 1v1, or who's going to get solo
He gets it
bolo.
too.
Looks like Poppy's going to be able to go down. None of them have flash, and she goes back in for the auto, dies for it, and that's first blood for Maokai as he gets solo boloed in his own jungle.
Just tough moment there for Poppy. I think he's trying to get that extra proc of the passive, maybe get the shield, greeted that one auto, and paid the price. First blood going over Beast Fridge. Super intelligent invade, though, just to see not a lot of HP after that mid gank. Then there's only one way he can really go if he's not resetting, and that's in the top side. So either you get that camp or you find the kill. And obviously, Beast Fridge finding the kill on that great pattern.
Right, and now you kind of look at the game state, what it's looking at. You see that early engage. Wow, and she gets that. Renekton's going to have to use flash to get out, but what a riposte by that Fiora to get that telegraphed Renekton stun and getting a lot of chunk damage in. Already slow push 2 waves in. We're going to see Fiora can get a 3rd wave down. But like I was saying, game state with that early invade by the Poppy shifted everything around. You don't really have, you know, the CS numbers are around the same just because of the amount of ganks that were getting thrown around. But if I was this Maokai and this Poppy, it's hard to track the jungler at this point because of how shifted everything was. Parry does not land, so Renekton's going to be able to get a pretty favorable trade, and does have to watch out because Poppy does clear vision top lane, have to see if they are going in, and he's not going to be very careful after that ward was taken off.
Doesn't get it either.
And it's not going to be down. Flash comes out, but he's able to escape, flashing that Poppy W.
Yeah, just a little bit of overextension there from Raymond the Goat. You have to see the sweeper come through, and just not a lot of presence of mind there. Just having the understanding that, okay, the only thing that he can really take is Krugs. He's probably going to try to path down. But now we see Beast Fridge and Velico taking this 1v1 again. Blitzkrieg does get first move, so it looks like it's going to be another kill here. Shockwave comes out. This is a second death for Velico. Poppy just not having a great game after that one really smart early pathing decision. Unfortunately, just running into this mid-jungle duo of the Firebirds.
And that's what you get for having, you know, low map awareness when it comes to that kind of situation. You don't see that mid laner is kind of pushed under their tower. They can't roam as quickly because they don't have mana for R, even though Vex is 6, not able to join the fight, and gives up their life.
Yeah, it's all around not at all what you're looking for. As we talked about, Poppy is supposed to be the dynamic pick that is able to push these lanes ahead, but instead, the stabilizing Maokai, the pick that we were talking about not having a ton of priority potentially with this losing bot lane and this kind of coin flippy top, all of a sudden now getting a huge amount of gold, a huge experience lead. He's going to be hitting level 6 off a couple of camps here, and this first dragon is going to be very, very tough fight for UW Green Bay. That is, if they're able to get that reset off and if they're going to commit. Looks like Poppy is going to walk up to clear some vision here. Smoking Showy taking some more damage. Man, this mid lane matchup just looks brutal. 10 CS per minute is Blitzkrieg with this kill already. It just seems like this blind Vex is not the move into this potent control mage pool that Blitzkrieg is able to put up here. Where do you think that the next move here for the Poppy is going to be? Just, you make a couple of early bad plays. It sucks. It happens. This is League of Legends, right? How do you bounce back from that?
Right. Honestly, with the Poppy being 0-2 already, the Sheen is kind of tough. Riposte missed coming up on this field. But like I was saying, it's kind of tough because if you're behind on a Poppy, at this point, you're just the meat shield. You don't want to be playing for damage because it's not like you scale incredibly hard going into the mid game. Your point is to, at this point on the team, to be the meat shield, be that engage, be that counter engage with Poppy R. So at this point, you want to start looking for ganks anywhere else on the map. You're kind of hovering around that mid area, getting scuttles, kind of seeing if you can take Blitzkrieg off guard. But at this point, it's really hard. 10 CS a minute, already double the CS of this Vex. You kind of have to let it go. You want this Fiora to win, but Fiora's going to be able to come in. You're going to see the 1v1 coming down. It's going to be another Q on this Vital. It is, but not going to be enough as Poppy is hovering top side, and this is what I'm talking about. You want to hover top, you want to hover bot, lanes that are still even, that can still be won by your presence. That's what you want, but we are seeing that Blitzkrieg, Beast Fridge, looking for a gank, but I don't know if anything's gonna be able to come out. Wait, they're overextending. Maokai still has R.
Big twisted advance there. Gets one root on the exact one you're looking for. Silence now. Ultimate Ninja just trying his best to run away. Exhaust also comes down, just securing this kill here. 1 now for Fyro. 3-0 are the Firebirds, and just perfectly clean game here so far. It's exactly what we're looking for out of a scaling team fighting comp.
And that's 2 mistakes seen by both teams here, not paying attention to sweepers. You know, we saw that Maokai on that sweeper for the Jin trap for about 3 or 4 seconds, and we're still able to get that kill on the Jin just because of the fact that wasn't paying attention.
Ooh,
something that
big
comes to be
shockwave.
Massive, as Vex is going to be able to flash away. But that's going to be another back forced out by Blitzkrieg on this Vex. It's going to be something, oh, and Karma's walking up very greedily, gets pushed back into the root, and that is another kill for Fyro on the board.
Yeah, just a lot of greedy plays here from UW Green Bay. It's something that's very easily fixed on the right side. It's something you can just kind of look at and go, okay, we overstepped. We had no vision. We knew that they just did Dragon, so stepping up for vision, it's not the right time. But in this game state, it has put you so far behind. It's going to be extremely difficult. I mean, looking at the mid lane, oh my god, 60 CS lead in the mid lane for Blitzkrieg on the signature Orianna here. And just so much priority. Where do you go from here as your Vex? But oh, getting ganked here. Valico found himself in another good position on Raymond the Goat. Will Raymond the Goat be able to escape? He does have the Grand Challenge active. Does get the 1 vital proc. W does come down. Ultimate also comes down. But he's just got so much mobility. The Wish comes through as well. Will he be able to turn this? Dominus comes out. Bodyman able to take out Raymond the Goat. And on the other side also, Curtain Call taking down Fyro. Blitzkrieg, though, finds himself in a good position. Doesn't find the
Shockwave's not up, but Poppy's going to go down. We're going to be able to see a double for Blitzkrieg. Doesn't look like it just because that Shockwave flashes up on him, has no vision on that bush yet. Going to be vision canceled. Have to kind of play it slow. He's eating a lot of minion aggro, but now Pac comes out of nowhere as now Blitzkrieg is on a killing spree as still up 60 CS. We're going to get another solo bolo by this Maokai. That's going to be 2 in a game if he can pull this off. Going to do so much damage with that Q.
Wow, got the rotation from Karma. Will she be able to get away?
Oh, the smite
comes
goes
out.
down.
Ultimate comes out. 2 beasts for it, taking the solo. My goodness.
That's 2 in a game on a Maokai. Homie's playing Maokai like it's Viego.
The skirmishing Maokai strikes again. Now 7-2, 4,000 gold advantage here for the Firebirds. Blitzkrieg finds himself in a tough spot here, but ultimately not much going to be happening. Shockwave comes out. Will you have enough damage?
Just a lot of mistakes coming out.
My goodness.
It's
what
just
a game.
It's a show of power. All of these comfort picks. I mean, let's look. I mean, we're talking about draft again. Comfort pick on top lane, comfort pick mid lane, comfort pick bot lane. Still tank junglers, still kind of coming into the meta. We do know Beast Bridge has been working on it, but we do see Fyro coming out a little overextended. Oh, it's going to land, but Jin W is going to come through. Root's going to land, and that is a shutdown? No, just a regular kill down to the Karma, but that's probably the better of the 2 that it could have gone to. But Pac is a little overextended, not knowing that Poppy's gonna be there. Jin W falls short, so that's gonna leave Poppy nowhere, as Pac is just able to walk away with her life. Very lucky.
Yeah, minor mispositioning, but ultimately you have enough mobility, healing, silence, mobility on Soraka. My goodness, you have enough CC on this Soraka, you'll just kind of walk away. Poppy doesn't have the damage. 0-3, 66 CS at 13 minutes. Not much gonna be happening here. Another ultimate coming here for the Maokai. Doesn't get any CC down. Nothing happening.
Yeah, baits out Renekton Q. I'm gonna say Renata Q.
Renekton ultimate.
And,
we both messed up.
Renekton Q as well.
I said no CC. They got the ultimate. Oh, Rift Herald now drop top. Kind of hard to see anything other than just the plates being taken here, just because Renekton is so potent in those dive situations. But, I mean, you can never complain about extra gold going on Spore here. Curtain Call does come out. Pac is going to be taken down swiftly here. Fyro going to find a nice little route, but I think that's all that's going to be happening down the bot lane.
And this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about, playing towards your bot side, playing towards any side lane that is able to kind of go through. Is Fiora going to be able to get this Grand Challenge proc? We don't know, because Fyro's going down in the bot lane. Wish comes down, but that does not matter. It looks like they're just going to give the kill over to Karma, but Poppy leaves it for the Karma. Karma goes down, and it is a 1-for-1. Fiora's going to be able to get a little cheeky back, but this is what I'm talking about. Playing towards your side lanes. Renekton and your bot lane were able to stay, you know, kind of somewhat even in CS numbers and in kills. You know, at this point, you kind of just throw in the white flag for the mid laner, let them just kind of sit there, then use their mid-game spike to try and, you know, kind of catapult them back into the game. Because at this point, Orianna's going to continue to scale and be a monster in team fights, but Vex is just going to have to continue to try and make up this CS gap. 70 CS down, practically double CS now at 15 minutes. But we are going to be able to kind of see where this is gonna land. Like I said, if I'm this Poppy, even though you do grab those 2 kills, I just don't know if I would still build Divine. This is me personally. I would just try and go tank, go, you know, Radiant or Heartsteel or something like that, just to be a little bit more beefy, because you and your Renekton are the only front line, and either way, it's a lot of health for both sides.
The only other
At least
issue
for now,
is,
until you get items.
Absolutely. The only issue is not a lot of damage out of the bot side here for UW Green Bay. You have Jhin Karma, not exactly known for high DPS or a good front-to-back team comp. So if you do go that more beefy build, if you go, you know, Frostfire Gauntlet, for example, you might be sacrificing too much damage here instead of the Divine. And now, a lot of trading here going on the top side. I'm not sure if anything's actually going to be found. Second battle is going to be proc. They're just beefing in the top lane, just scrapping.
Oh my goodness. They are trading blows left and right, and you know, that's the stereotypical top lane island that that's what I'm talking about. Monster and team fights. That Shockwave did half of that Vex's health. Yes, the Vex is behind. Yes, we can put that forward, but that does not mean that the Shockwave does not do a boatload of damage.
Absolutely. I mean, just very dominant. Once again, it's not much more to say about it. Extreme dominance shown by Blitzkrieg on this Orianna. 80 farm up, 2 levels up, twisted advance on this bot lane. Jhin is caught out. Does in fact dodge the CC, but it looks like it's just going to be too much. Beastridge picking up the 3rd kill of the game on the demonic build. That's something I didn't notice before. Not opting for the Radiant first, going for that more high damage, more punishing build when you're sniping on these objectives with the sapling.
I mean, would you not? I mean, you're 3-0 at this point. Might as well.
That's true. When you've been scrapping like Beastridge has this game, you might as well get the damage item.
Yep, might as well. I mean, you're already gonna be tanky. You already build a lot of resistances in your normal kit, especially like I was saying with the Radiant. But you still have a lot of options for your itemization. They do have a lot of mixed damage on the side of UW Green Bay, so that, you know, does, you know, Bramble Vest is still up there for Thornmail. You can still go Force of Nature, any kind of these helpful items. In theory, you could go, I have seen Maokai's go or Redemption before, just to get that, you know, AoE heal in team fights, which you have a Soraka, so you don't really need to do that, but it is also nice if you get that extra kind of burst of damage. But we're going to be setting up for an objective that's already been taken. They're just going to be able to find a fight. Poppy's going to go down, gets melted by the Shockwave, which, again, I'm going to point out every time she Shockwaves and chunks out a champion, I'm going to say that she's ahead. She's going to be a monster.
Yep.
And she is proving my point every single time.
Absolutely. One thing that I've kind of been surprised about is we talked about earlier, and you know, just doing top laner things up here once again, just scrapping it out. One thing I'm kind of surprised about here is Velko hasn't been kind of targeting bot side as much as I've been expecting, but really big ult there, considering how behind they are. Actually did kind of swing it to where they might be able to find a kill. The slow does come out on his Pyro. Root comes out on his eye. This might actually be a kill opportunity here. If Thunderstorm comes out, this could be a lot of damage on the pullback if he positions this well. He does have the flash available for it. Does get the root there onto the Vex. This might be a kill, but no, not walking forward far enough. Just going to be playing safe, playing slow. That's what this Carthage team's been so good at this whole season. Blitzkrieg picking up a kill, grand challenge. Going to be poking out enough for Blitzkrieg to be able to steal that one away.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, a bloodbath. Left, right, and center, people are trading blows, whether it's for the side of UW Green Bay or for the side of Carthage. It's just, I mean, I'm excited to see the damage charts after this. It's going to be just, you know, damage all over the place. But yeah, it's kind of hard if you're in the position of UW Green Bay to try and catch out. You have to be able to kind of, you know, play Karma and Poppy around to try and catch people out. You just lack the damage, like you were saying. You lack a lot of DPS. Taking objectives is going to be hard if you can get a kill or two, just because you don't have the DPS to take Baron. You don't have the DPS to take Elder. You don't have the DPS to take these higher level dragons, which can be, you know, prove difficult to try and, you know, get back into the game, because eventually if you aren't able to get these shutdowns, you have to try and look towards objectives if you can get a kill or two on the map.
Absolutely. Poppy now can find herself on the outside of the map. You know that FireBirds without Featherstorm and a pushing wave, this could be a moment for a dive, but no, just going to push them all the way back, so just going to have to seed that Rift Herald, try to find some camps on the bot side just to even out the play even somewhat, because obviously the fact that Fire and Pop were able to back away, able to just understand, hey, if we stay here, we're going to die. We might as well just give the tower. We're taking the Rift Herald anyway. It's a positive play. I mean, great awareness there from the bot lane. Just to stop this kind of, I hate to say, but desperation play here out of UW Green Bay. They're 6K down. They have to find something. And one of the points that we talked about, I was trying to say before, one of the points that we talked about early in draft is you need to find ways, as you see Poppy flashing in, finding the ultimate, finding the curtain call here. Will Blitzkrieg actually go down? Flashing away, he will not get out. Vex, Smokey Showa going to be getting that very juicy 1K gold shutdown. That'll be very, very helpful in getting them back into this game.
That's exactly what you're looking for Green Bay. Try and get these catch-outs like we were talking about. If you get enough of these shutdowns, you're going to be able to come back into the game. You know, that one shutdown from 6K now down to about 5.5, which is going to just try and claw your way back into this game, because that's all you can do. You don't scale nearly as hard as the Firebirds do with Fiora, Xayah to an extent, and Orianna.
That's a great scaler, yeah.
And, you know, you're looking on the side of UW Green Bay, you have Renekton, Vex, which is more of a mid-game spike, Jhin, more of a mid-game spike, early to mid-game, Karma, same way, she's going to fall off a cliff. It's hard, you have to try and force these things, but what's going on? Twisted Advance coming in, you're going to be able to catch one out, Karma's going to be able to flash away, that's not going to be able to get anything, you're going to be able to get both TPs coming out from Renekton, and Fiora is going to be split pushing top lane. They got to get into the pit, going to be able to get out, Poppy's going to push them all away, 400 HP is dragged, Karma's going to be able to secure it, but she's going to go down. We get a flash out from Vex, and that is going to be a 2-0 for the Firebirds as Fiora continues to push top lane. That was a 4v5, still able to get 2. Does lose the drag, but at this point it's not that big of a concern. 1 dragon for 2 kills and a tower top lane is, you know, not super bad of a trade.
2 turrets.
Oh yeah, that's right. She did take top, and she's might take a third if they don't stop her real quick.
Yeah, at first I was kind of surprised. I was just thinking, oh well, this dragon is theirs. They should be able to take this so quickly. But as we talked about before, just a couple of minutes ago, they don't have the DPS to these dragons fast enough to sneak them in the way that they were trying to do. And now, gonna see a Baron take. We think we're gonna look away, avert our eyes, everybody, as we get a little early spoiler. Another common theme of this season, we apologize. I hope it hasn't been affecting the viewing experience too much, but thankfully, a lot of the time it has been Carthage favored. We're hoping it is that way now.
I hear Baron recalls.
That's what I hear as well. It's a good thing.
Right.
Carthage taking the Baron, it's the next step towards winning the game.
Right.
As now, we are back here.
That's crazy.
Good Baron take, 9K up. Just looking to end the game here. Simple as that.
Yeah, at this point, that's all you can expect from the Firebirds. They're just going to be using this Fiora. She has 2 items, going to be working on a 3rd right now. It's just kind of hard at this point. You have to send at least 2 or 3 for this Fiora. At this point, then Orianna can still, with all of the damage that she's going to be able to do to turrets with her autos, she can side lane as well, even though you want to be going through. This Vex is going to be a goner. No flash. Maokai's going to be there for the extra CC. And that is another kill. Going down to Blitzkrieg, 7-1.
Hey, just splendid game out of him so far. Just a real masterclass at what Ori should be able to do in these matchups. I feel like a lot of the time in solo queue, especially in lower ranks, you don't really see Ori dominating lanes in this way. But with a pilot who knows the extent of Ori's damage in lane, the correct trading patterns, the shielding that you're able to provide for yourself, it is a really oppressive champion to play against when you're into something like Vex, like a burst mage, or a lot of these melee matchups as well. It can be an extreme lane bully, and that's, if we've seen here, picture perfect play out of Blitzkrieg.
Exactly. I mean, and that's all you really want to know. This is going to be, you know, your main carry mid laner. I mean, at this point, I don't want to throw, you know, comparisons around or anything, but never mind. That will have to wait. You see a top lane going down, and
so much damage for Pyro.
Goodness.
He's just gonna be walking them down. The movement speed and damage from the W, the flash forward. You're not getting away from that one. Beastridge going all the way to Nexus. Command Shockwave takes another life. as that is going to be a victory for the Firebirds.
I don't know about you, but somebody went into the code, Control-Alt-deleted that Jhin from the Rift. And, you know, as I was going to say, which I'll have to wait until next game because this game might be over pretty quickly. But at this point, Renekton's the only one that's going to be able to save. Goes 1v5. Oh, but all of that healing from Gore Drinker, not going to be enough as Karma is going to be the only one here. Not going to be able to stop. Poppy's going to miss the R as Blitzkrieg flashes away. And that is going to be game 1 under the belts of Carthage Firebirds. And a final score of 21-6.
Just a clean game. Not much more to ask for, really, from the Firebirds here.
Right.
Just going to be looking towards adjustments next game. I would like to talk very briefly, the kind of hidden hero this game. I feel like Fyro had a fantastic game playing the weak side.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we were talking about is going to be one of the focal points, make or break on the team. And that is something that he was able to overcome that lane just because of the sheer comfort. Like, it's just a sheer comfort. Yes, that is the word. It's just a sheer comfort pick for him. He's able to play in those matchups so often in solo queue for the past few seasons that he's more comfortable on that pick than maybe UW Green Bay expected. First picking the Jhin Karma, their game plan into that was, okay, Xayah is a poor pick into this lane. We're gonna pick it, and if he picks it, we'll see how good it is. If he's good enough of a player to overcome that, then so be it. But we're gonna try and pressure it as much as we can. In my opinion, Poppy probably could have played down there earlier. She did play towards bot lane as I expected, just a little bit late. You wanted to try and play around it earlier. She did get those 2 early deaths, which kind of set her back a little bit, kind of hovered around mid lane a little too much as that lane was already gone by 10 minutes. So I would have played towards top and bot more and try to force plays when you had the numbers advantage just to try and push something ahead. But yeah, like we said, Pac ending the game 0-1 and 14, able to kind of help the team when it comes to Wish on the other side of the map, when it comes to, you know, 3v2s, silencing the Poppy so she can't, you know, unleash her full combo on the Xayah to try and burst her out. That's something that when you look back at the replay, when you look back at the charts, it's really the untold secret. It's the untold you know,
secret.
I mean, that's usually what secrets are, but it's I'm trying to figure out words. You know, unprofessional caster, professional caster.
And you know what? That's okay.
But we're trying.
But for now, we're going to wrap this segment up. We're going to be looking towards our next game. Short break here for the players on both sides, seeing the adjustments UW Green Bay makes. Will the Firebirds be bringing a similar team conference to the table? Tune in with us to see Game 2, UW Green Bay versus Carthage. Welcome back, everybody, for some more Carthage League of Legends here with another new person. We've got Beast Fridge.
Hi.
I was gonna say former jungler, but that would be kind of
No,
no. You're the jungler. FIrebirds jungler here. How are you feeling after that last game?
It felt pretty good. I think the whole team did their job really well. Especially Blitzkrieg. He did a really good job mid lane, and I can't wait to see what he does with his second game.
Absolutely. One thing that we couldn't help but comment on: 2 solo kills on the Maokai.
Yeah, we did a really good job of tracking enemy jungle. But that's something we've improved on as an entire team, just tracking where they start, where they're going, and I think we reacted pretty well to the enemy red invade. We we saw her low HP, and we were like, okay, we're gonna push in mid, and we're gonna go invade the red solo, because I have more HP than her, so I'm just gonna win 1v1, and it went pretty well.
That was one thing, just really great awareness out of you to understand, well, especially on when you found her on her red, where else can she go after that mid gank? It's like, well, you already know she cleared her bot side. She had to have if she was going to invade your bot. So then the logical next move is to go towards the top side, and of course finding her on the red buff and picking up the kill. What do you think the draft adaptation is going to be here for UW Green Bay? What do you expect?
I think we're going to see a Soraka ban.
Really?
Nadia's really good at Soraka. It's really hard for their best player to do anything in lane when there's a Soraka constantly healing both enemy ADC and herself.
Absolutely. Jumping into draft, they'll actually be able to see, will they go for the Soraka ban? Similar first ban here. Get the Fizz, going to be taken out of the equation. Super dynamic pick. Just overall annoy. I mean, can't blame somebody for picking that out of the pool. But here's the interesting one going to be coming up. What will the first ban here be for Green Bay? I wouldn't be surprised at all to see an Ori ban.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to use more bans on top lane because whatever Blitzkrieg plays mid, he's probably going to win. So they're probably going to focus less bans on that than just around the map.
Absolutely.
I think if Malzahar goes through the first round, Green Bay should probably pick it up. It's really good when you think you need to facilitate a really good player, which Blitzkrieg is a very good player. So I think the Malzahar is definitely a must.
Absolutely. Lulu going to be the second ban. Unfortunately, you're not going to be seeing what that first ban was. Hope it was an Ori, honestly. And there we go. The Malzahar ban, just as we talked about. Now, there are other picks that you can kind of use. The neutralizing mid lane picks. Typically, you see Lissandra being up there as a big one. But the problem with that is, if the Ori isn't banned, it's still up, and that Ori crushes Lissandra in lane. So that adaptation is certainly going to be something going in.
And Orianna's just really good right now.
Oh yeah.
Like what, 5 straight buffs in a row?
Oh, it was something silly. it was some Riot Games activity for sure. It was some over buffing.
Okay, we're seeing the Aatrox B1, which is interesting.
In my heart, I feel like Aatrox B1 is bad, but my eyes haven't really found a place to hate it yet.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the typical counter picks that you see are kind of soft counters. You see Gwen a lot of the time in pro play when that was meta, the Aatrox in particular. Now we're going to see the Echo Aphelios pick. That is very interesting here. And
a lot of Aatrox's super hard counters, a lot of people don't know how to play, or at least to the fullest potential. Aurelia, Fiora, those are the main two. And a lot of people can't play those champions or just can't fit it into the comp they want to play.
Absolutely. I mean, Fiora especially is one we've seen the FIrebirds work time and time again. They've been fantastic at creating these 4-1 split comps. But otherwise,
I like the Maokai.
Gonna see the Maokai pick here.
Oh, Jinx. Okay, I like Jinx. Jinx is super strong right now.
How do you feel about Jinx into Aphelios, though?
Jinx, I think the support's gonna make the difference.
Absolutely.
I think it depends whether Green Bay is gonna opt in for a Thresh. I think that would be pretty good. Though the Lulu is banned. I don't know if they banned the Soraka. I'm assuming that's a Soraka ban.
I would assume as well, yes. It would make the most sense as far as you look at the FIrebirds comp, what they like to play. These splitting picks. Jax is another.
I like the Jax.
It's a good pick. It's more dynamic than a lot of other picks that you see in Aatrox typically. A Malphite is actually another one that you can kind of somewhat commonly see. It's one that's very hard in that early game, but once you get first, second reset, all of a sudden that lane is extremely stable. Whereas Jax, you're really trying to hard win that lane and press an advantage.
Yeah.
So that's going to be yet another dynamic lane here.
There's
this
the Orianna
set.
ban you were talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a great blind pick, especially when you pick blue side. It's just a fantastic blind. There's not much more to say about it. Lilia is going to be another ban here picked up, so we're expecting this Echo is going to be going mid.
Oh, there's
and
the Soraka
there's
ban.
the Soraka. So
Okay.
I'm kind of interested to see what that first ban ended up being. I think that the Braum. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I think that given Pac's champ pool, I think that Braum is not a great ban.
Yeah, I agree. She mostly plays enchanters. I'd like to see Emilio here for the Firebirds.
I think it would really. I think given support counterpick, it's really going to depend on what they decide they're going to blind here, because this Echo is still a flex. It still could be mid or it could
Yeah.
be jungle.
So they're
Renata.
gonna go for the Renata. Okay, I actually like this. They are looking to play aggressive bot, which I like. And see, there's the Milio.
Mm-hmm. I think that Milio has the only problem with that is I feel like Milio has a really good time into Renata. Usually you see the Renata into a lot of engage. It's usually the comfort spot that you kind of want to pick it into, especially when you have the Milio ultimate, which can just cleanse everybody.
Yeah.
So I think this Renata, you really have to push this in lane. It's similar to last game where you have the Jhin Karma. You're picking it specifically to dominate that laning phase, and if you don't, you're going to be on the back foot for the rest of the game.
I think that's Green Bay's whole plan, right? Just win bot lane really hard.
Yep.
They got to do it no matter what. And I really like the Renata for that. Cassio. Okay, I like this.
What are your thoughts on blind Cassio?
Cassio's really good for playing through the side lanes,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. I think she's going to be able to match the Jax side. Echo can't really do anything into her much.
That's true.
Um,
And there's the Veigar. Yep.
Interesting.
I think it was the right decision. I mean, just throwing the Echo into the Cassiopeia there would have been a very tough lane, the mid lane, especially if it's anything like what we saw last game with just the dominance that Blitzkrieg showed in these positive matchups. I think you kind of have to go for the Veigar for a scaling pick, just something that's able to set up this Echo a little bit more, especially when you see Cassio without any real mobility outside of the slight additional move speed that she gets. I think that this Veigar is a fine pick.
Yeah, and I think it's going to fit the mid laner's playstyle. He's probably just going to want to play from far range, just farm, and scale up so he can reunite with his team and hopefully win through his bot lane.
Absolutely. The only thing that you really want more out of this is typically when you're picking a carry jungler like the Echo. I mean, Echo especially really likes a facilitating mid laner, something that can have even more setup. Like we talked about, Lissandra actually would have been a very good pick here.
Yeah, and I don't think Veigar does a terrible job at that. Like you can cage into the Echo
Into the W, yep.
Echo W, which could be a decent combo. Though something you have to be worrisome about is that you are picking carry AP mid and carry AP jungle, which is very bad, especially in the Aatrox, because he can just build a Maw.
Yep. Or Spear
Which-
Visage, depending on how far ahead you are, yep.
Yeah, he could do both, honestly.
Yeah. Even, I mean, in a Jax who has slightly hybrid damage too, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the armor boots immediately into the Maw. Another thing that is really something to think about when you're drafting boots on the mid laner, which boots you choose is really, really important when you see mid jungle 2v2. Both laners here, both mid laners should be looking for his Lucidity boots, depending on, or not Lucidity, sorry, Tenacity boots, depending on how ahead or behind you are.
Well, it's kind of funny because unfortunately we picked Cassiopeia, so we don't get boots.
And that's why you have to favor the UW Green Bay draft here, is because
They've won.
Cassio can't buy the Tenacity boots into this matchup.
Yeah,
It's
actually,
backbreaking. I mean, you have Echo Veigar. It's the perfect opportunity. Without those boots, what can she do?
yeah. I mean, the Merchants would have been nice. I will not lie. I think Cassio's pretty safe though into this
Absolutely.
lane.
Yes.
There's not much they can really do.
No, on a more serious note, Cassio is absolutely fine. I mean, you can manipulate the wave in whatever way you choose. You have winning early matchup into the Veigar. The main problem that you're looking at, I mean, as usual, is the setup. Will this Echo be going towards mid lane, be actually looking to shut down Blitzkrieg after that dominant performance early, and kind of change up their game plan in that way? And where instead of, oh, we need to win through bot, we need to shut down Blitzkrieg early and then play through mid to the side lanes.
Yeah, and I like how you could kind of see what each team wants to do, like in team fights. Firebirds are gonna want slower fights and to look for picks.
Yep.
While UW is just gonna look for really fast wombo combos.
Yep. Same thing of looking
like,
for picks, but it's a much different style. Like I completely agree. Firebirds absolutely be wanting to drop this CC on the Echo to slow him down. I think Maokai in particular into this Echo is going to be super hard to play around with the Twisted Advance. But they still want to kite back. And then you can kind of, once you find that pick, that's when you can push your advantage with the World Ender on the Aatrox. Whereas on the UW Green Bay side, you kind of have the opposite, where you need to find this early pick with the Echo. The Echo needs to find Jinx or Milio, find that early kill, and then you can kind of rush in with the rest of your engage.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be the name of the game at past like 20 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just find the Jinx, get her in a cage, get her just locked down, you know? You can't let her get excited and get that passive going, because now it stacks, which is super
terrifying.
Scary.
Yes.
Which is like she gets thousands of gold like after 2 kills. It's insane. So I'm pretty excited to see the bot lane matchup.
Absolutely. That will be another certainly very exciting spot. Also, mid jungle, of course, something I always be looking at, and the constant fist fight that we've seen in the top lane in each game. But for now, we're gonna kind of tease you with this effect. We're gonna make you wait a little bit. 2 minutes here is gonna be the spectator delay. We'll be right back with some more Carthage League of Legends.
know you feel like you have failed. Hate to see you lost inside. Know that you and I will pay. Someday you'll have lost, that's it. God knows I've tried, I know I've tried to make you see you're meant to be alive at last and see you. We'll make it home, you and I.
Back, everybody. This is more Carthage League of Legends. Stepping onto the rift now. We talked about drafts a little bit, but who do you feel has draft advantage? We never really got around to that.
I think Firebirds definitely have draft advantage. I feel like they have something solid, something that'll kind of play itself, you know? Well, UW kind of, it's risky what they have.
Absolutely.
It's very punishable in a lot of places. And you also, there's a lot of like feast famine, like the Renata, they got to win the lane.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Especially with the Milio pick. I mean, it would just be so hard to get a good hostile takeover, a good Renata ult into these team fights. Another thing we were talking about during break, carry jungling in kind of competitive play and in these more, what word am I looking for? structured play. We were talking about Echo being more solo queue style pick, whereas in more competitive play, in more structured play, it's a lot harder to play around a jungler. So how do you feel that the best way to go about carry jungling is in this game? Or do you just want to be using the Echo as a facilitator in this comp?
I think so if you have a carry jungler, you really need to establish where you want to play towards. Because you're going to have to full clear. You can't stop to go react to something else or like do 5 camps. You have to do the whole thing, and you have to be there towards where you want to be, and which is the bot lane for this. So it does go well with their draft that they have the carry jungle here. They want to play towards bot and mid. They don't really care about Jax getting ahead because he's going to do that by himself.
Yep. Or should. Obviously, it's a dynamic lane. Anything could really happen. It's probably more of a skill matchup, I think a lot of people would say. But to kind of build off of that point, Echo is kind of unique in the carry junglers even, where it's not a champion where you're going to have a very fast full clear, especially that first clear is going to be dreadful in comparison to a lot of other carry junglers. Like you think of maybe Lilia,
Graves.
I mean, Graves. Both of them, even with the jungle nerfs, Graves still is going to have a faster full clear than the Echo.
Yeah,
so, oh wow, that's a great level 1 trade here, or level 2, sorry.
Wow. Really nice trading from Jax. That's exactly how you want to play the matchup. On Aatrox, you need to understand your early levels are terrible. Your cooldown is long, and if the other person understands that, if they're an Aatrox player, they can punish you really hard if you don't respect it.
Absolutely, and that is why you would pick the Jax and the Aatrox here, so definitely going to be excited to see where that matchup goes from here. But back to the point about the Echo, something that you really need to look for if you're playing Echo into this matchup especially is you need to do counter jungling. Maokai's main weakness is his weakness levels 1 through 5. It's something I talked about last game. It's the only real time where he struggles in these 1v1 situations. Otherwise, he has enough HP, enough sustained, where he's typically able to just walk it off, to get the root, get the knockback, and walk it off. But in the early levels, especially with how much chase, oh wow, playing tower to such a T there. It didn't look like much, but that was a very impressive play, I think.
Yeah, both potions already used for top lane. It's a very trade-heavy matchup already. Something I've noticed about jungle is clear speed is very important. And if you're playing a jungler that can't clear faster than enemy jungle, you have to adapt. You have to skip a camp if you are going to try to fight with your own laners for the scuttle.
Absolutely. Or, in this case, as you see, 2 different approaches, even just, once again, branching off what you're talking about, 2 different approaches there. You see Dragon of Dusk skipping the ground, taking the scuttle, just trying to take that early advantage. A little bit riskier just because of how much push this Jax has. On the other hand, Echo just taking that reset, making sure that he has a stronger base for that scuttle fight on the bot side.
I really like what Echo just did. I really like the... I see a lot of people do this. Just reset into to the other scuttle. Oh! Okay, a first blood on top side, which is not what UW wanted at all.
It was a tough play. I didn't see quite what happened, but you had 2 waves stacking on the Aatrox's side, and it looked like just took a bad trade. I think he canceled the Q out. I'd have to assume is what happened, just because of what an awkward position Bodyman found himself in. But it's not unsalvageable, but 25 to 8 CS is far, far from ideal. As you see some very good trading here on the bot lane. This is what we talked about. You need to find this early advantage if you're going to succeed going to the mid game.
Yeah, this is exactly what they wanted. I mean, Milio's already out of mana. They're just going to look for a cheater reset here. It looks like, because they're not going to be able... Actually...
You can't find a true cheater reset. You don't have the cannon minion.
Yeah.
But it's still advantageous. You still should be able to catch, at the very least, most of the wave. And, once again, we talked about tempo. The great tempo play that the Echo made. This is a great tempo play. You're going to catch some of the wave, and you have great priority for the Dragon.
Yeah. And now you have resets for Dragon, as you said.
Oh, there. That's exactly what's so hard about this matchup. Half health. Chunked away from Smokey Showy. Just another tough matchup here in the mid lane. It's not what you want to see, but at least on this Veigar, you have the scaling advantage. You see some fantastic trading by Raymond the Gun on the top side.
Yeah, Aatrox is definitely favored to win now. He's opting for the Duskblade, which is interesting. Or Duskblade or Eclipse.
Eclipse, probably. I think Duskblade is not something you see more often than not these days. But how do you feel about that? Just given both comps, do you think that the Eclipse variation or the lethality variation is correct in this game?
I think FIrebirds have enough damage as is. I think you do enough damage with Gore Drinker, but you're going to need to survive. the initial burst, which is actually what UW wants.
Good flash.
Really nice
Great
ultimate.
ult, though. Might actually be able to turn this depending on how much healing you get. It looks like Echo's going to go down. What a misplay there by the mid-jungle duo of UW Green Bay, and a fantastic find.
They shouldn't chase
getting
this.
the pick, but this is definitely an overchase. Renata Glass finding the handshake and eventually finding that kill there.
That was really nicely played by Blitzkrieg.
They're going to find one there, though. Great use of the Flame Choppers, great use of the W there by the Maokai, and that's all you can really ask for. Fantastic game sense there by Fire to know. We've got a kill here.
300 gold to Jinx already.
300 kills.
300 kills, yeah. No, basically.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, we keep getting distracted with the bot side. Raymond the Goat.
Yeah.
I have no words for what just happened there. That was unfortunate to say the very least.
Top is in a rough spot for UW already. And last game, it was Renekton into Fiora. Fiora is very hard to win that matchup as Fiora. But now we get to see Ray on something where it's kind of versatile, even though it's Jack's favored. But he could still win on his own.
It's a very dynamic matchup. Any way that the first kill goes, you really get the advantage the other way. And as you can see now, 20 CS lead. You got the 2 solo kill lead, which is massive. And all of a sudden, this Jax is going to have a very hard time in the laning phase. Well, I see the advantage of the Milio here. That extra range and burn really ticking away at Aphelios here. But you have Severum, you have the red gun here. You're going to get a decent amount of sustain back. So it's really not the end of the world.
Yeah, I kind of see why Raven would opt for the lethality build now that he's super ahead. Because he can get kills. As with Goredrinker, it's harder to kind of push a lead. You're not going to die a lot, but
Absolutely.
you're also not. You're giving up play-making potential.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the more snowball-oriented build path. I mean, Serrated Dirk is just such an incredible early mid-game item. They just get such an advantage flashing forward with the Q3. If he found that knockup, he almost certainly would have found the kill there. I love to see the aggressive play. Even if it doesn't work out, testing those limits isn't a bad thing.
Those Aatrox Q sweet spots can be fickle.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, though, you're still up those 2 kills. It hurts to see the slight misplay there, but you're still up so much gold that you can afford for it a little bit.
Okay, we're going to see level 6 now for both of the bot laners, or sorry, ADC and support for UW. And level 6 now for Jinx. I'm assuming Milio is probably pretty close.
On the verge, yeah. This is, I'd say, the turning point here for this bot lane matchup. As far as a 2v2 goes, I think that Aphelios really starts to get a lot of pressure once he gets at level 6, once he gets the Moonlight Vigil, just because of, especially like, red and white, let's fight. It's the saying, that's how it goes, and it's because of how much dueling potential you have with all the chakrams that you gain from the ultimate.
That's a big thing, is finding the time to fix your gun order, because what you want is red, white, and then blue. Because the blue-white is also a lot of damage.
Absolutely. It's even more potent trading, I'd say, just because it's harder to interact with also.
Yeah.
Now, little Slopish can be found. Good to see that the Carthage got that first dragon there. And now we see Echo on the top side. Still hasn't really found any counter-jungling opportunities, but does have a decent CS lead here at the very least.
Yeah, we did see that Dragon of Dust did skip a few camps to kind of get where he needed to be, which it didn't give him too much, but it could have, right?
Absolutely. It's kind of tough. You can really only analyze those decisions once you get out of the game and are able to look from a holistic perspective about the game. And then you see Twisted Advance. I mean, Vallejo is just not in the right place here. He does have the
really nice ultimate
there, and he'll get a lot of damage down, but Blitzkrieg just is so far ahead. Catalyst of Eons, the healing and mana production that it gets, it's going to push him right back to his turret here.
It's Cassiopeia into 2 champions with dashes. Or he places down the Miasma, they can't do anything. They have to be really careful when fighting with this Cassiopeia.
Absolutely. Hostile takeover, just a zoning ult.
I think that's a bit of a blunder from UW bot lane.
Because now they're just going to be able to walk him down. It looks like a lot of healing coming down on the limited Ninja, but
is out of mana.
Fyro will not have access to the rockets also, so Carthage bot lane does have to be very careful. Still has a lot of poke just because we know Aphelios with that teal gun, it's very potent, especially once you get those turrets down, if you're able to get any extra hits, but it looks like nothing much going to be happening on the side of this trading. Fyro is going to regain his mana.
Yeah, both ADCs pretty chunked, though.
Oh my god, the top lane trading is disgusting. Flashing away his body, man. We didn't see it there.
It is the Duskblade, though, for Aatrox.
Oh, it makes sense, though, I guess. I think Eclipse probably better into a lot of the more bulky teams just because you get the percent max health damage. Whereas, I mean, so much survivability and damage out of this Duskblade.
And there's a lot of abilities you can kind of dodge with the Duskblade passive as soon as you get a pick.
What do you think the right way to go for this Jax is at this point? Just because you see he's kind of forcing these trades down, just begging to get this wave in. It's now Worldender is going to be popped. This is not the situation you want to be in. You have the Duskblade, you have the additional movement speed. That's going to be a third kill here for Raymond the Goat. Will count as a solo kill, I'll have you know. Third solo kill there for Raymond the Goat, having a fantastic series here.
Yeah, he's having a hell of a performance, completely taking over the top lane. I think the only thing Jax really can do is just roam. I think he has to roam, maybe for like a dragon or something, just to get his bot lane ahead.
That's another thing that we've been surprised about both games here is you pick these bot lanes that kind of need to win the lane, and then you never play towards them. It's something that will kind of have to change potentially going forward in this game, or potentially going on into further series here for UW Green Bay, as far as analyzing what are your win conditions, and what are the opponent's win conditions, how do we shut them down, and how does our draft affect these things?
Definitely. I think Echo needs to maybe start sacrificing some camps just to get something happening bot lane.
Good flash there out of Smokey Showy just to ensure that he will not be killed here. You know how much damage this Cassio has, but still unfortunate to lose it on that lack of vision in the top lane.
Yeah. Aphelios Gun's not the greatest for fighting this dragon that's up right now.
Do you think that fighting this dragon is even the correct opportunity here? Do you think that this is the right timing to do it on? If you are UW Green Bay?
It depends on how strong you think your bot lane combo is. If you think with the hostile takeover and if Aphelios has correct guns for fighting, sure, you can fight it because they don't have Maokai now.
Pocket away just found himself in a very weird position. It looks like this will be a kill. Flashing away though. Oh, the flash throw by Unlimited Ninja.
Really
Great way to push that advantage. Ghost also used and flash by Pyro, so this is absolutely an opportunity that you need to take to push that advantage. Now Pyro,
that's a double kill for the bot lane.
Slightly too far forward, and Aphelios Unlimited Ninja. playing great with the roam here
down.
by Raymond the Goat. Gonna find a lot of damage down already. That Duskblade is doing work. The second chance will not come to anything there as Raymond the Goat's looking for more. We'll find the Q1, we'll find the Q2. Flashing forward for the Q3, double kill for the Aatrox. The Worldender is still active. Vallejo is running for his life. The Chrono Shift will not matter.
The TP's way too
Triple
late.
kill there for Raymond the Goat. Will he make it more? Smokey Showy has found himself out in a bit of a tough position. And
That's a kill
Blitzkrieg
over
going to pick that one up
Blitzkrieg.
for himself.
They're just
What a
feeding the
team
machine
fight.
at this point. I mean, it was a really good play by UW bot lane, but then again, Jax is just like he's just pushing top. I mean, he's gonna get plates. He's gonna be able to maybe catch up to the Aatrox, but Aatrox got what, 2 kills?
Three
kills out of
and an
that.
assist. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely not
grab
worth
him.
for
Down.
UW.
Does get the root. So Moonlight Vigil isn't active now for Unlimited Ninja. You have to be careful about a dive here. Fortunately, you do have Renata, just extremely good at stopping those dives from happening, but you have to be very careful. You don't know where this bot lane is. Good ward over the wall to find out where Carthage is diving.
That's something that's actually hard to do, is get that ward over the mountain thingy.
Yep, I remember when my first role was ADC, and I just remember spending like 30 minutes just sitting, pressing that ward on the outside lip forever until I figured that one out.
Yeah. Those little ward spots could actually mean a lot, because they would have had to walk up if they didn't know how to do that.
Exactly, and then
they
would
would just died.
have almost certainly died. Yeah, so just good fundamental play here. Despite being behind, it's actually not behind by nearly as much as I feel like they should be. Carthage has been pushing their advantage well, but 2,000 with a 6 kill deficit, only 2,000 gold lead is less than you're hoping for.
Yeah, and UW has their gold where they want. That's important. It's not like it's not on Renata mostly. It's mostly on Aphelios.
Yep.
Which is very important.
It's exactly what you're looking for. As we talked about before, it's the X Factor lane. It's who you need to get ahead. Now you get the hostile takeover coming out. We'll catch out one, but no more. The route is still for long enough that this slow might matter. Sentry's going to be placed, but that's going to be the end of that play. Hoping for more there if you're Carthage, but once again, a win's a win.
Echo
right?
needs to be around this bot side
Yes.
more, I feel.
Yes, despite having a 30 CS lead, it really feels like he hasn't impacted the map nearly as much as Dragon's Dusk has been impacting the map on this Maokai, which I feel like is part of the whole advantage of picking the Maokai, is you can just kind of exist and provide value, whereas what we talked about before, you're picking the carry jungler. You really need to be pushing that early advantage, counter jungling, and looking for kills aggressively in this early game if you're going to find anything here. And now going in is Bodyman. Is going to be flashing past the Infernal Chains. The World Ender is going to be popped here. He's going to soon be running away. He does have a lot of armor, so it looks like Bodyman might actually be able to find a kill, but a lot of damage on that
Jax
Q3.
ultimate has run out.
Will he be able to find that? Does find the stun, does find the extra auto, but no, won't be able to find that one final attack over the wall.
FIreBirds
Smoky
on the hunt
Showy.
now.
Doubt he'd be able to find anything. So good play there by Raymond to go to escape, but equally good by Bodyman to just kind of understand your item spike. I've got Sunder now. I can really box you.
Yeah, that was actually really well played by UW top laner. Because like, what is he? Almost or like a whole item behind almost.
Essentially, yes. It was just a great understanding of timing. Another thing to kind of be surprised about here, not nearly as big of a stomp here as far as experience. UW Green Bay has done a great job here. See, it's just so tough to find that if you don't have that cage down first. But as I was saying, UW Green Bay has found a great amount of experience despite the massive gold deficits that you found through CS in these lanes. Vagar is only 1 level down. Bodyman is only 1 level down despite these gigantic CS differentials.
Yeah, and
You're
most
doing the
of
most
that
what you
is contributed from the Aatrox from bot lane. Because how many waves did Aatrox lose? Like 3 waves top lane?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Jax wants to be doing that instead of Aatrox because they can abuse the catch-up XP system
Absolutely.
a lot better. But either way, I think it's fine now that Jax, once he gets items, he can stat check the Aatrox because he's building lethality.
Yep.
And he needs to be careful. He needs to hit his sweep spots or he is going to die.
Absolutely, and that is the downside of this lethality build. It's like kind of interesting that I feel like a lot of people who build a lethality build, they kind of get baited into the Sorelda's second item, which is what it looks like Raymond the Goat's going here. I feel like you really need... Oh, there's a really good play there by the Echo, but I don't know if he'll have enough damage. Flashing away his Fyro. That's just going to be another nothing play out of Echo, unfortunately. It's really tough to find these, but now Bodyman found himself in a very tough position. World Ender and Twisted Advance are going to be popped. Infernal Chains are down. He's going to be stuck in place for a long time. The Q2, Q3 are now down. Dragon of Dust picking up his first of the game. Good play on the top side. But on the other side of the map, picking up that tower is a decent constellation.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of impatience in the Echo's play there. I feel like he should have waited a bit.
This is going to be a tough trade, yeah.
He definitely should have waited for maybe because they didn't have vision on the bush.
Yep.
So I feel like just waiting a little bit longer. Like, I understand all your camps are up, but you have to give or take. Or you have to give some, take some, you know, you got to know.
Yep. You need to find a play at this point. You cannot continue to sit 0-2 as this Echo and find value going throughout this game. You will eventually have enough damage to take out Fyro, to take out Hawk, but will that be enough of a fight-altering play in order to find a win in a game that you're already down 3,000 gold?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be uphill battle for UW. And it's going to be really hard to find those openings as Echo into the Cassiopeia and Maokai. Because they have a lot of stuff that could just shut you down, right? The Miasma,
Yep.
the Q on Maokai.
Yep, pretty much Maokai's whole kit.
Yeah.
It is very tough. But now, finding themselves in a very good position here for this third dragon, for this soul point. Just going to be walking them into the jungle. Just good macro here out of the FIrebirds. Very clean. It's what I've liked to see this whole season, really, is just very clean decision-making, having understanding of what needs to happen before each objective. And obviously, the micro has been excellent here for the FIrebirds this entire game, as you see these advantages have been built up through these lanes. So
see, they already are down the Moonlight Vigil, which
is needed.
Gonna make the fight near impossible. Vigar's already half health, and
just gonna walk away. Flashing forward, will not find anything there. We'll find a root here on the Dragon of Dusk, but will it be enough? It looks like that root was just so potent. The Twisted Advance is gonna be so much. Only gets one with the stun there. The Counter-Strike, active evasion of Fyro picks up the first, and now here come the kill. Second for Fyro. He's gonna be looking for more, just sprinting around this team fight. You can't stay invulnerable for long, Jax. A third gonna be picked up, and a fourth. 4 for 0 and the Dragon. This is a Baron play.
Yeah, and that's exactly how they want to play it. Like, it's gonna take a bit longer to do the fight itself, but they lost no one. They got 4. They got the Jinx excited. They play off the Aatrox ult resets. They're just a reset-orientated team. So they played that perfectly. They respected the burst. They dodged pretty much all the enemy abilities that could hurt them, like the Renata ult. That's a big one. And that's going to be a free Baron, basically, off of that Dragon.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be a strong argument to not contest that dragon if you are UW.
Yeah, Aphelios had red-purple guns, which is not... It's like the worst combo.
Yeah, it legitimately is, I think, yeah.
Lowest DPS, definitely not ideal.
Looking back on the play, what do you think a better play would have been for UW Green Bay in that position?
I think you just need to overload a lane, maybe.
And what does that mean? When you say overload a lane, what is your goal there?
Just send like 4 people top lane, try to get a turret maybe. Or just go into enemy jungle, set up wards, try to get vision on Baron. Because you have to accept the fact that you're not going to be able to contest this dragon. And you try to get something from that. Because nothing is free, really, in League of Legends. You always have to pay for taking a dragon. You're giving up pressure topside. And that's a great opportunity to push top and mid turrets, get some vision around the Baron, which is going to be a really big objective since it's 20 minutes. And they have a great lead, so they can do it. And they just didn't do that.
Absolutely. One more thing to think about here. I see a Crown of the Shattered Queen here on the mid lane, on Veigar here. Do you think that was the right pick here into this comp?
No. There's a lot of stuff that can kind of just pop it, which is like Maokai ult, Jinx ult, Jinx W, Cassiopeia Q, and it's not really going to do anything against how strong their all-in is.
What do you think a better item would have been? Oh, this could be a pick here.
They are relatively short range. I think Everfrost could be an option.
You think Ludens is viable here?
No.
Oh, well, actually a pretty good find here by the Echo. He does still have the ultimate to get out. Hostile Takeover is going to come through. You will have some agency heroes now. Oh, the Twisted Advance. This is not the position you want to find yourself in. As we talked about before, Carthage Shattered Queen's pop. Zonia's has popped. All of a sudden, you're kind of out of luck if you're the Veigar here. Fire's on killing spree. Fire's excited. Fire's going to be pushing forward here. Might actually be able to find one. So much damage from the Jinx, but no. No more for Fire.
It was almost a kill on the Aphelios too with the Jinx rocket, but the Veigar items, they're basically just dead stats. You need damage. I think Leandries could work or Everfrost. I don't like Ludens unless you're solo AP.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just not the greatest itemization from the mid laner.
Yeah, so once again, these are things that can be easily fixable, and even at the this game isn't over. At the end of the day, this is still League of Legends.
It is a Veigar.
Yep.
It's Veigar, Echo, Jax,
Aphelios especially, yes.
There is insane scaling on this team.
What do you think they need to do to get back into this game then?
They need to somehow farm the supers without dying. I think that's the...
Oh, so much damage there.
I just think it's just so hard now.
Oh, man. They'll go find himself in an unfortunate position. The Chrono Shift is not going to find anything. The God's here is just going to be able to run away, actually. Or no, he's pushing back forward. Body Man.
The World End is going to go for the 2v1.
Give you looking for this trade, the Infernal Trade chains. The Infernal Trades. I mean, you'd think it was by looking at it.
It's a pretty nice trade.
But top tower is going to be taken. Fairly productive Baron here, all things considered. Now you can look towards that Dragon Soul.
Yeah, I mean, Soul's the name of the game. They actually, I really like that the FIrebirds didn't take any inhibs. You're giving up pressure, but you're also not giving them the chance to farm the supers, which they're Veigar, Aphelios. They can farm it pretty well with Infernum guns
with
and
anything, really.
Veigar.
Yeah.
And I really like that because they have enough to just push anyway without supers. So I really like that they're just playing for the soul and opening up the turrets.
Absolutely. Given last fight and how that went, what do you think that the correct choice is for UW Green Bay? Do you try to find a steal here? You do have an Echo, so you do have a champion that's very good at that.
Oh, close your eyes.
Avert your eyes, everybody. We need to look away. What could have happened? We're setting up. Let's run this through. We're setting up the dragon.
Okay.
We're getting vision. Pings are being thrown around. Are you with me here?
Yeah.
The pings, somebody's
Echo
legendary.
pentakill.
There we go. Blue team takes the soul, and they're gonna look for the end here.
Yeah. I think Echo just has to go for a hero play there, but it's really hard because like they have no vision, they have no turrets, they have nothing.
And a lot of CC on the other side.
I think it's just you slowly bleed out. You just have to turtle. You just have to turtle and pray that Aphelios and Renata can kind of hit their very big teamfight ultimates and do work.
Absolutely. Or that somebody makes a mistake. Once again, this is League of Legends. Like, anything could really happen. Despite the massive advantages that the FIrebirds found themselves with, it's a dynamic game. You can find yourself in a game state that you don't know what to do with.
If
and all
Jinx
of a sudden
mispositions and Jackson Echo can find the opportunity to hop on to the Jinx, it's a free kill.
it makes the game a lot harder for the FIrebirds. Yep.
Definitely. I think the biggest issue is going to be the Aatrox.
I certainly agree. I mean, so much damage coming out. Now you have a Sterix gauge as well. I mean, it's going to be so difficult to take him out. 2 inhibitors down. How do you feel about this macro play as far as ending the game here for the FIrebirds?
I like it. I think you just need to take all the inhibs and then just with 3 lanes of minions, siege. Because you have Jinx. They get excited with all the structure takes.
Jinx and Cassio, both very good at sieging. It's very hard to walk into that comp.
They are going to play it safe and look for the Baron.
Oh.
Which, actually, no, they're going to pretend like they're going to the Baron.
A clever play.
Yeah.
But not biting, unfortunately.
They're using Raymond the Goat as bait.
Will this work is the question. Smokey Showy is kind of pushed up here. You do have the Maokai ultimate available. You're going to catch them all. 4 people are going to be found, and that's exactly the play you need to find. The Event Horizon's going to find no one, and this is going to be a clean ace here going towards the victory. FIrebirds 2-0. The Jinx attack speed is going crazy. Chrono shift forward. Pyro finds himself in a bad position. He will be taken out. But that won't matter. That'll be the end of the game there. FIrebirds 2-0. And a very clean victory at that.
Yeah, definitely. They played it safe, which sometimes it's bad and you can pay for it with into scaling teams. But they played it safe and they played the macro really well, which I liked. And they minimized deaths. They didn't feed, which is really good.
Not feeding, usually key to a victory.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fountain diving. Unfortunately,
as
Dragon
I
in the
said,
Dusk just throwing the entire game by jumping
running
into the
it
fountain
down
there. My goodness. But still, it's what I've talked about all season. It's something that, looking back on other seasons that I've watched, I've cast for this team looks much more clean. It looks decisive. They know how to close out a game. It's exactly what you look for out of a strong 5-man roster.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked the safe macro play. It's just, I really like that they didn't take the inhibs with the supers. I really like that.
It was a very smart play, and then they crashed them all at the same time, and they're able to find the victory. And we're going to take a short little break here. We're actually going to have an interview, Furo. We'll keep it a secret. We'll keep it under wraps. We'll surprise you here. But we'll be right back with our interview to close out this episode, this night of Carthage League of Legends. We'll see you in a bit. We're back with you for not just Carthage League of Legends, but a Carthage League of Legends interview here with Fyro.
Hi.
You got to be feeling good after those 2 games.
Good games, yeah. Went well all
Went
around.
well.
Yeah.
You'd have to say a 2-0 victory. It's kind of hard to complain about that one.
It really is.
What do you think? It's something I've talked about. I was actually just discussing it. The advantages I'm seeing this team versus previous teams. Just the cleanliness with which you close out games. What do you feel like the main factor is in that change of gameplay, in this clean macro that we're seeing this season?
I feel like we have really good shot calling from our mid laner Blitzkrieg. He really keeps us from being too greedy, like going for plays that are not safe. And like at the end, they were like, we wanted to be like, let's look for something. Let's look for something. And he's like, no, let's just do Baron. And then we backed off to look for a bait play to go for the Maokai.
And my goodness, did it work? 4 people caught at that ultimate.
It
was the perfect play to go towards ending that game there. One thing I want to talk about, just looking at that first game in particular, and previous games in this season, we find you on the weak side a lot watching these games. Just try to explain what exactly weak siding means for the team and how to kind of play around that as an ADC.
So weak side basically just means a lot of the priority goes to the top side of the map.
Priority meaning?
Jungle attention. We like going, like making sure that nothing really bad happens. They're watching, like mid is looking top, jungle's looking top. A lot of time we're mid. The main time that we get attention is when the dragon's coming up.
Absolutely.
It's just a big buff for the team. We play around that. But the whole thing with the bot lane is that we play back. We try to manage our waves best we can. And so especially when the jungler is down there, we can set up for freeze, then slow push, and then into the dragon. It's a lot of things we can do to help push our advantage
wave
there.
management.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wave management.
Always fun.
Do you feel like that, this sort of play, because I know in previous years you found yourself as kind of as the carry player, like you're looking to make the hero play, and it's kind of everybody's putting the resources into you. How has this kind of shifted mentality been for you, where you've kind of went from all of a sudden we're pouring all of our resources into bot lane and we're looking for you to carry, to now you have carry threats all over the obviously Raymond the GOAT, an incredible game out of him, 3 solo kills in the first 8 minutes. You have all these other carry threats here, and even the draft philosophy is kind of different. How has that changed your approach on the game?
It hasn't changed it too much. It puts a lot of pressure off of me personally, and I think that's really nice. It lets me just like focus on the game more and not be like, oh, like if I mess up, it's all going down. I was gonna just play my best and like just concentrate on the game, not have to worry about too much. Just focus on farming, playing safe, positioning well.
Absolutely. All of the key ADC, the key ADC fundamentals.
Playing
of course.
the game.
Of course. I don't got anything else for you here, Fyro. I've got to say. I've got one more thing, though. Do you have any shout-outs you like to make tonight?
I do. I have shout-outs for my wonderful girlfriend, Callie, at home. She's sick. Sad to not see her today.
Get better soon, Callie.
Of course. My friends, Faith. I don't know if she's watching. My friends online. People came to visit. Chris, they... But yeah.
Good shout-outs. Good, and of course, good series here for the Firebirds. Watch Worlds tonight. League of Legends World Champions is playing. World Championships is playing tonight. I believe it's T1 versus Team Liquid, and another game is playing that we don't care about because we are NA diehards. We are fully prepared to lose, and we're fine with that. Otherwise, Overwatch tomorrow. Correct? We got a time for that. 7 o'clock. Watch our Overwatch team. We're pretty dang good. Watch them. And of course, as always, tune in next week, Wednesday at 7. More Carthage League of Legends. You'll find me, and you'll find somebody else sitting in this chair. They're always awesome. They're always great, but glad to always have you tune in. We'll see you next time for some more Carthage League of Legends.
ocean.